She found a single white rose on her doorstep every year for 12 years. No note, no name. And the year she finally stayed awake to catch who was leaving it, everything she believed about her marriage fell apart. Before we begin, this story was shared with me by someone in this community. I'm only here to give it a voice. Names and small details have been changed to protect the people in it. Her name, we'll say, was Margaret. The morning after we buried my husband, I opened the front door for the paper. And there it was, a single white rose lying on the doormat, still wet with dew. I assumed a neighbor had left it out of kindness. This is one of the most haunting stories anyone has ever sent me. So please, Par, stay with me to the end.
I still remember how delicate it looked there. One perfect rose, as if someone had set it down with great care.
A year passed. On our wedding anniversary, I opened that same door, and my heart simply stopped. Another white rose, the very same spot, the same morning, as if no time had passed at all. I told myself it was coincidence, a neighbor with a long memory, a kind gesture, nothing more. But the third year, when the rose appeared again, I stopped believing in coincidence.
I started keeping all of them, pressing each rose between the pages of a book, year after year.
Every year, on the same date, the rose returned, and every year I had no idea who was leaving it. I started to wait for it. The whole year would shrink down to that one morning in spring. I'd lie awake the night before, listening, for footsteps, for a car, for anything. I never heard a sound. One year I set my alarm for 4 a.m. and sat by the window in the dark, watching. I must have drifted off. When I woke at dawn, the rose was already there, and I had seen nothing.
The street was always empty by the time I looked, quiet, as if the morning itself was keeping the secret from me.
So I bought a security camera, mounted it right above the door. That year, I was certain I'd finally know. I watched the footage frame by frame. The doorstep was empty all night. And then, at 5:42, static. The camera had cut out. For 90 seconds. When it came back, the rose was lying there. 90 seconds. Whoever this was, they knew exactly when I'd sleep cod and exactly where my camera couldn't see.
I watched those 90 seconds of static more times than I can count, praying the screen would show me something. It never did.
I asked every neighbor on the street, the mailman, a florist 3 towns over. No one knew a thing. Some of them looked at me strangely, a widow, asking about roses she couldn't explain. I began to doubt myself. Maybe I was leaving them. Maybe grief had done something to my mind. That thought terrified me most of all. But the roses kept coming, year after year. And I grew older and no closer to the truth. On the 12th year, I decided I would not sleep. Not 1 minute. I would see this person's face. I made coffee at midnight, wrapped myself in my husband's old coat, and I sat down by the window. The hours crawled. 1, 2, 3. My eyes burned. The coffee went cold. Still, I waited.
I had never wanted morning to come so badly, and feared it so much, all at the very same time.
Around 4, it began to rain, and underneath it I almost missed the sound gowned, the click of the garden gate. My whole body went cold. Someone was walking up the path, slowly, carrying something pale in one hand. I couldn't move. After 12 years, the answer was finally standing on my doorstep, Kai, in the rain, in the dark.
They moved like they'd done this 100 times before, like they knew every stone on that path by heart.
I crept to the door. My hand shook so badly I could barely turn the handle. I held my breath. And then I threw it open. The porch light flickered on, The figure looked up, and I saw the face. My coffee cup slipped from my hand and shattered on the floor. Because I knew that face. I knew it well.
12 years of questions, and the answer hit me so hard I couldn't even hold on to a simple coffee cup.
Standing in the rain, holding a single white rose soaked to the bone, was my son. My only son. The son who had barely spoken to me since the funeral. The son I thought had drifted away forever. He froze when he saw me. Like a child caught in a secret he'd carried for half his life. "Mom," he whispered, "I never wanted you to know it was me. I didn't want you to ask why." I pulled him inside, out of the rain, and dripping on my kitchen floor, my son told me everything. The white rose wasn't his idea, he said. It had been his father's, a promise made before I ever knew.
He pulled an old photograph from his coat. The two of them, father and son, from a summer I'd nearly forgotten.
When his father was dying, he called our son to the hospital and made him promise something. A secret to carry alone. Every year, his father said, "On your mother's anniversary, leave her one white rose, so she never feels alone. But never let her know it's from me. Let her believe the world still holds a little mystery, a little wonder." My husband knew I'd grieve. He knew I'd close myself off. So he built me a reason to keep opening that door. 12 years, my son kept that promise in silence, driving across the state, in the dark, in the rain.
Every single year, he made that long drive alone to Thisbede, just to lay one flower down and disappear before I woke.
He'd cut the camera feed himself those 90 seconds prim, so I'd never catch him and never stop believing. I'd spent 12 years thinking my son had abandoned me, when all along he was the one keeping me company. We sat in that kitchen until sunrise, talking, really talking, for the first time since we lost him. The white rose was never a mystery. It was a love letter pen, written by a dying man, delivered by his grieving son.
I finally understood why that rose had always looked so much like love. Because that is exactly what it was.
My husband couldn't stay, but he found a way to keep loving me through the hands of the child we made. Margaret still gets a white rose every spring, but now her son brings it to the door himself. Sometimes the people we think have left us are holding on the tightest. We just can't see how. If this story moved you, leave a white rose in the comments. And tell me, Pife, who in your life never really left?